Hey guys, ET here from Sunbros, and today we're bringing you another Hero Quick Look video. We're going to be talking about Arduin. Arduin is a class warrior tank. His role is mobility and control. As you guys can see in the bottom left, Arduin is pretty even keel across the board, nothing too low or too high. Arduin's passive, Bloodlust. When Arduin's HP drops below 50%, Arduin enters Bloodlust, and for the next 8 seconds, each ability or normal attack restores 2% of his maximum HP. Arduin's first ability, Ren, Arduin swings his axe, sending out an energy arc that deals damage and slows enemy movement speed, and if Arduin hits an enemy hero, he can also smash his axe again to deal damage and knock enemies into the air. Arduin's second ability, Undying Protector, Arduin summons a shield based on his maximum HP, and when the shield is summoned, he deals damage to all surrounding enemies. Within 8 seconds of summoning the shield, Arduin's next 3 normal attacks deal true damage. Also, each of these attacks that hits an enemy reduces the cooldown of his ultimate Coal. Arduin's ultimate Coal, Arduin flings his axe forward, dealing damage and stunning the first enemy hit. He then hurls towards his axe location, dealing damage to all surrounding enemies, and once Coal is activated, it can't be stopped by crowd control effects. Next, we're going to be covering Arduin's pros and cons, starting with his pros, which are his strengths, the things you're going to take advantage of if you're playing as Arduin, and the things you're going to want to avoid if you're playing against him. Arduin's first pro is his natural tankiness. Whether we're talking about his passive, Bloodlust, which makes it so that every time he falls below 50% health, Arduin enters Bloodlust mode for 8 seconds, and each ability and normal attack heals 2% of his maximum HP. Or we're talking about his second ability, Undying Protector, in which he summons a shield that's worth 12% of his maximum HP. Having abilities that give Arduin natural tankiness helps a lot, considering Constitution is pretty low for a tank. Arduin's second pro is that he offers really good crowd control. His first ability, Rend, gives us 2 pieces. The first one is from the first time you do Rend, you slow the enemy movement speed by 40% for 2 seconds, and the second time you knock enemies into the air for 1 second. The second piece is Coal. Arduin flings his axe forward, dealing damage and stunning the first enemy hit for 1.5 seconds. It's a pretty solid overall stun. The things that makes the crowd control even more impressive is that the first ability, Rend, only has an 8-second cooldown, which can be reduced pretty low with some cooldown reduction, and his ultimate Coal has a 16-second cooldown, so you could actually get that below 10 seconds with cooldown reduction, giving him a pretty good amount of crowd control that he can cast over and over again. The third pro of playing Arduin is that Arduin has double abilities in all 3 of his ability slots. The first ability, Rend, hits enemies, does damage, and slows them down, and the second one hits enemies, does damage, and knocks them into the air. His second ability, Undying Protector, is kind of a 3-parter. It summons a shield. When you summon the shield, it does damage, and then also it adds true damage to the next 3 normal attacks. So it actually does like a 3-part ability set. It's pretty cool. And then his last ability, his ultimate Coal, flings his axe forward, dealing a bunch of damage and stunning the first enemy hit for 1.5 seconds. And the second spot is that he hurls towards the axe's spot, dealing damage to all surrounding enemies. The kind of dual or triple effect on all the abilities is a pretty cool thing and pretty unique, as a lot of heroes in the game don't get that kind of thing. Now we're going to move on to Arduin's cons, which is the things that you're going to want to avoid if you're playing as him, and the things you're going to want to exploit or take advantage of if you're playing against him. Arduin's first con is that he has poor escapability. The abilities that help him get into a fight and help him engage are not really that great to use to get away from danger because they take too much time to cast. So if you get in too deep and over your head in a fight with Arduin, he's really hard to get away with and to stay alive. Arduin's second con is that his damage is just okay. For somebody who's labeled a warrior / tank, the damage in the warrior spot isn't quite what you would think it would be for, being a warrior main. And that actually brings us into our third con, which is that his tankiness is only okay too. It's one of the issues that I have with Arduin. As you guys know, I rated him amongst the top 5 worst tanks in the game, and it's not really because he doesn't have good abilities and he's not a good overall hero. So if somebody brought Arduin into a game, you'll never hear me be upset about that. Arduin is a solid hero. My issue is that he doesn't really have anywhere where he fits. He doesn't have enough tankiness to be a real top tier tank, and he doesn't quite do enough damage to be a real top tier warrior, which kind of just leaves him in a weird in-between section. Like most of the guys who are dual roles like warriors and tanks, for example, Arthur is much better as a warrior than a tank, and Thane, who's much better as a tank than a warrior, they kind of have, even though they have dual roles, they kind of have like a set place where they belong, whereas Arduin doesn't really. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, make sure you guys check out the other Hero Quick Look videos, as well as our how to play and how to win guides to Arena Valor, and of course our top 5 list. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, till next time.